Welcome back. As promised, let's get chatting with the management of Mahindra Logistics. Remember, from March lows, the stock has more than doubled, and now the company has launched a last-mile delivery service under the brand name eDel. Why is it eDel? Because it's delivery via electric vehicles. We have Rampraveen Swaminathan, who's the MD and CEO of the company, joining us to take this discussion forward. Thanks a lot for joining in. Interesting foray this for the company. If you could tell us a couple of details, what's the capital that you're looking to deploy into this? What's the revenue visibility of this new vertical?
Yeah, so eDel provides last mile delivery services using the electric vehicle platform. We're beginning with a fleet of three-wheelers, which will then expand to other categories as well. Over the next 6 months, we'll be deploying a fleet of around 1,000 vehicles. And over the next 2 years, we hope to expand that to a further 3,000 vehicles across 14 cities in India.
All right. So what would that mean in terms of capital deployment? If you could give us a number, the kind of money you'll be spending, and also the revenue potential. Maybe in the next 3 years, as the number of vehicles that are deployed, they go up, you'll also be having some rough numbers, ballpark number, Mr. Swaminathan?
Sure. So we are on an asset-light model. So most of our fleet is actually built along with a partner ecosystem, and it's not actually on our balance sheet directly. But from a broader financial perspective, I think we expect the business to be 150 crores or so over the next 3 years.
All right, 150 crores in terms of revenue. But since it's a partner-based model and last mile delivery itself is a very competitive business, what kind of margins are you looking to operate at in this business?
Well, today on an asset-light 3PL business model, we operate around 9 to 10% gross margins at a company level, and we expect that this business will deliver similar kind of margins.
Okay. Do you have any tie-ups with any of these big e-commerce players?
Well, we already serve most of this customer base. So we serve large e-commerce companies as well as FMCG and durables companies today. So essentially, we'll be providing the same offering to those customers and replacing ICE fleets with EVs.
All right. A couple of things about your current business itself. How are things looking now that we've crossed the halfway mark? How do things look for the second half? What are your expectations for next year?
Yeah, so we operate in two businesses, supply chain and mobility. The mobility business on the enterprise side is still pretty weak because of work from home, but supply chain saw a very strong bounce back in the second quarter. It grew by 7%. Our fulfillment services businesses grew by 15 to 17%. In the second half of the year, we expect to maintain that growth momentum. As I look at 21-22, I think there are some caveats, but broadly, we're very optimistic about maintaining the growth trajectory which we have built over the last 6 months.
Talking about the business on the whole, the last updated number that we have in terms of your receivables is roughly around 480 crore rupees odd. Give us some color on that. Who owes you money?
Yes, I think our receivables are generally in pretty good shape. Obviously, our business is working capital dense in some ways, but we have a very good working capital cycle on receivables. In fact, through the first quarter of the year, our receivables came down significantly, and our collections also actually improved. And therefore, we ended the first quarter and the second quarter as well with a very strong cash position. So overall, receivables, I think, are generally in a very good rhythm. We don't really have any exposure there. We largely work with large enterprise customers. So there's really no concern there of any kind. It's in pretty good shape.
Right. Close to around 60% of your revenues come in from Mahindra Group itself. Almost 80% of your supply chain management business comes in, or nearly 2/3 of that comes in from the auto space itself. So auto sector is looking up. What sort of growth projection do you have for the next couple of quarters?
So I think definitely the auto sector has seen a correction. The sector's contribution to our revenues actually dipped in the first half of the year, following a dip last year as well. But in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, we do expect to see corrections playing out. And therefore, if I look forward to 21-22, I back somewhere close to the 2018-19 levels, in terms of our auto sector and farm sector businesses.
Okay, all right, Mr. Swaminathan, thanks so much for stopping by. It's a new product in a new year. Wishing you all the best for 2021. Well, the markets